זוכרנו, וקוסרינו, ירנו, חפון הזו, אלוהיקים, חפון הזו. זוכרנו, קוסרינו, חפון הזו, אלוהיקים, חפון הזו. גם תוכל להסתכל. Wade. Is that an LG?
What's you doing there with LG?
Hello? Oh, okay, yeah. You should know that I think there's people in the mikveh now, so just be careful. In the event. Yeah, okay. All right, I'm here now. Bye-bye. Continue. No, thank you.
Imagine being able to build anything just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44, a complete AI
Welcome to Take a Deep Breath. Today's breathing exercise is advanced power breathing using your nose. Please ensure you check the safety information in the description below. This breathing exercise consists of 3 rounds, and each round consists of 60 breaths with a 2-minute retention. Each breath will be 2 seconds in and 2 seconds out. It will be done rhythmically and guided. Feel free to use the timestamps below so that you can repeat or skip any sections. Take a deep breath, then maybe check out some more of the gentle breathing exercises and build yourself up. Okay, let's begin. In through the nose, out through the nose, in through the nose, out through the nose, in through the nose, out through the nose. Final breath in, and final breath out. Breathe fully out, empty those lungs and hold.
So there's one for vayikra, and then there's another one for Pesach that we should definitely do, but maybe next week. Well, oh, I think that's the one for Pesach.
Oh,
I think they coincide.
okay.
Yeah. Okay, let's do it. Put some pause here. Put on some pause. Okay, make this full screen. I like being in the other building. I guess we have to have a reason to be there.
Like being in this building.
No, the other building. To our way, yeah. I like learn. You don't like learning there better?
Not sure.
All right, whatever. Same Torah.
All right, ready?
You know, this is what they teach kids when they start chinuch,
Mhm.
right? Why is that? Yeah, you would think they start where? Braces. They start braces. Maybe that's the idea of the small olive. Because it's all about purity, and children, their Torah learning is pure. The breath of their mouth is pure. That's what I heard. I don't know.
It's not true. We're from gracious.
You're not. Wait. You're saying like when you started learning when you were very young.
Gracious.
Really? Okay, but there's definitely a thing where people start at vayikra. Okay, let's go.
Vayikra, Moshe, Vayikra, Hashem, Lemar. So somebody brings a carbon from a sheep herd. Hashem spoke. Hashem spoke to him.
What's the word for man here? Ish?
Adam.
Adam. Okay, that's significant.
But a man will offer from among you. From the other way, he said.
Yeah.
A man will offer among you an offering to Hashem. It shall be from domestic animals, but only from cattle, sheep, and goats shall be bring offering. Questions on the wording of the verse.
Crazy verse.
Okay.
Okay, literally attend a meeting, a Mishkan portable sanctuary. The tzoyin, sheep and goats. Okay.
Why does this verse start speaking in the third person saying man from you will offer, but then who's the second person saying you shall bring your offering? Necha, see, this start is like indirect.
Yeah.
The third person, Necha, is more direct.
Right.
That's the first question.
Well, the third person is like, yeah.
Third person is indirect.
Yeah.
Second question is V'gam D'chiyakar B'Shem Yachid. Why when it says Kiyakar, when he says it actually Kiyakar, he says it's interesting.
A man. It's singular. Lashon Yachid.
That's where he says third person actually. He says
right.
Third person, he says it's singular.
And then the second person is plural.
Second person, correct.
Okay.
V'gam, third question, the how we remember who else we can. V'gam Kiyakar. And Adam we can Kiyakar. Just grammatically. Like not grammatically, like sentence.
Yeah. Structure.
A man structure.
Diktuk.
Man just makes sense since you say a person from you will be mocker instead of a person will be mocker from you. It's still out of
From among you, yeah. You don't need both.
No, it's the order of the word that we can.
Oh, yeah. When a man among you, when a man brings from among you, yeah, that's weird.
From exactly. The way the Torah seems to imply that that from the offering is from among you, the person himself is the offering. Himself is the offering. That's the answer already.
No. He's gonna get deeper than that, but yeah, that's interesting. You wouldn't assume that.
That's already part of the answer.
You would assume the offering is from among you. It's something you own. It's your possessions.
But that's actually the question. But that's the answer. So whatever.
Yeah.
That's the question. When in fact, the person is offering an animal.
Right.
It sounds like he's offering himself. Okay. Fine. Now, in the Neda, Sheish Malach based in Fashes, and Shalkis, and Shalhamas. So matter can be understood based on the zone that every person, there's two souls, a divine soul and an animal soul.
Okay.
Asher Nefesh Shalkis, Shoshin from his Adam, when Shikasa Gilbert comes in the Salve. The divine soul source is from the level of Adam.
Adam Kadmon, I guess.
Shabbat Adam the first.
Okay, Adam the first, Adam Kadmon.
Man, his image and his vision. The person of Adam.
Okay.
The first man Adam presents the concept of completely self-association that Hashem Ketul.
Which is Ma. Adam is Ma.
Adam is 45, which is Ma.
Yeah.
Which means, what is it? This is referring to some
Kayach Ma.
transparent, but it's hardly noticeable. Therefore, let's ask about what it is.
What even is that?
Soul comes from a level that is entirely transparent to Hashem's revelation.
Called?
The world themselves. This level is called Adam, since the word is related to the word Adama, which means to compare. The word Adama could be compared to Rav. This level reflects the
Like Demus?
No, this is a
Form?
Like Doime.
Right. Doime.
They were similar.
Similar, yeah.
This all reflects the truth of Hashem as it really is, and is therefore compared to Hashem's infinite light, which is the level of words. The verse of Shaya, which describes Hashem's throne, is referring to the level of Malchus and Silas. This level is compared to the throne. Just like when the system throne lowers its head body, so too, because the Malchus Hashem lowers his wisdom and attributes of kindness and severity to be able to interact with limited created beings.
Right.
By saying that on this throne there were things like the appearance of Adam, this means level Adam is a level,
The appearance, is that, okay. The Demus, no?
it's a level of Mitzvahs higher than Malchus, higher in Mitzvahs than Malchus, because it's saying
What sat on the throne? The throne was Malchus, so what sat on it? Something sat on it.
something higher than Malchus.
Right.
More elevated than being the source of existence and interaction. Because
that's Malchus.
Source of existence is Malchus. Right?
Malchus is plural, that's how you know.
Oh, yeah.
Let's read this note here.
That's a good point. Go back up at the last paragraph.
Okay.
It says the divine soul comes to Adam, which is beyond creation, is referring to reveal the truth of Hashem, the great beings in this world.
Because I'm wondering because it was after the first paragraph, 6. Okay, in Miller's Maamar, Basin's Maamar, he explains that this level is called Zer Anpin, which, that he tells us already, which comprises the attribute of Hashem's kindness already. Okay, that's the emotions. Is directly involved with the creation, whereas the attributes are a step removed from the creation they're received from being out. Right, okay. Okay, great. So whereas the attributes are a step removed from the creations are received from Bina understanding, right? So it's a Chachma feeds into Bina, Bina gives birth to Zer Anpin, and Zer Anpin ultimately flows into Malchus. There it is, right? That's that's inspiration. And this compared to how a person's emotions are higher than his ability to speak and act. Right? You can't speak and act without emotions first. You have to feel like doing something before you do it. Which are higher than his ability to speak and act. Yeah, I'm saying you have to feel like something before you do it. They're much deeper, part of a person, and they receive directly from a person's intellect, specifically Bina, the mother. Okay.
So the way that emotions receive from intellect is more direct than the way Malchus receives from intellect.
Correct. Well, what do you mean intellect? Do you mean Chachma or do you mean Bina?
Either.
Well, I don't know. Malchus receives from Chachma in a more direct way. Whatever, we'll discuss it. There's a connection between the father and the daughter, right? That's Chachma and Malchus. Yeah, I know. Because ultimately Malchus flows into Chachma, the next world. Let's see.
Maybe there's different types.
Yeah. Different relationships. Mother and son has a relationship, and a father-daughter relationship.
Right, but I think maybe certain.
It's more chitzonius. It's more of an external, superficial way, as opposed to mother and son.
So it sends down through a chain-like series of spiritual levels, through the aspect of the face of
the Merkava.
A
lion.
Next page of Adam, as it appears in the book. The word Merkava literally means chariot or vehicle. It refers to a spiritual level of angels that are totally subservient to Hashem. The total lack of ego and self-nullification for Hashem is compared to how a chariot is subservient to its rider. It goes where the rider wants with no say of its own. This level of angels, known as Merkava, there are 4 faces, meaning 4 aspects. These are described in the vision of Chesed as the faces of an Adam, divine oxygen, the highest aspect of his body. This level is the highest and most refined level.
No kosher animals, by the way.
They serve as any intermediate level through the divine soul, through which the divine soul can come through on its way down into the physical.
It's a mediator or a medium.
Because of its great level. The Nefesh Bahamas, you know, become Mishmar Fanim, for sure. Animal comes directly from the dregs. That's like the
Achronim. That's the garbage.
What does dregs mean?
Garbage. Leftover sediment. Poop.
Right. The animal soul derives from the dregs of final angels. On higher level, it is rooted in the level of angels known as the face of Ox. The animal, as we experience it, derives from those spiritual levels known as the dregs of the Fanim. Dregs, or sediment, is what remains from the wine after the part of it straightened off. Similarly, the spirituality of the animal soul becomes drained from the revelation of Hashem that it experienced in its source in the angels. It is for this reason that its passion and yearning, which were originally passion longing for Hashem, have turned into love and desire for pure physicality, because it's literally drained from the spirituality.
Right.
It's sediment.
Yeah.
Garbage.
Yeah.
The source of the Fanim angels is from the level of the face of the ox, which from the level of angels known as the Merkava. We explained above, the Merkava means chariot vehicle. It represents a total dedication and submission to Hashem, like a chariot to a rider. This means that in the ultimate source of the animal soul is derived from the level of angels that were totally dedicated to Hashem. The level of the face of Adam is a much higher level of angels in the Merkava than the face of the ox. However, the level of the face of the ox is also part of the Merkava. His ego is totally nullified to Hashem, by Hashem. This is what enables the animal soul, which is directly judged itself also, is to be genuinely dedicated to Hashem, even though it cannot be at the same level of dedication as the
This is like Klipas Noga versus a Shlosh Klipas Tmeos. Right? Adam versus the animals.
So, because the Nefesh Bahamas has that such a high source.
Yeah, right.
Not like Adam, it's still a high source.
Right.
In the Merkava. That's why it's able to
Mediate.
dedicate to Hashem.
Right.
The Nefesh Bahamas can be dedicated to Hashem.
Right.
So
Can be converted and can lift him higher.
right. The Tachas Hashem Mazahu, the Nefesh Bahamas, becomes the sky of Sadra. The purpose of the center of the divine soul to this world is to find animal souls that should be tamed and transformed. I know.
Wait, let's just note 7. Note 7 here.
First, you say that Rebbe seeks to ask this question, seeing the obvious question. Both the animal soul are totally dedicated to Hashem and their source. So why did Hashem have to put the animal soul in a spiritual negative situation? Actually, need to be saved by the divine soul. Let them both stay in their source, and everything will be okay. One answer given is that the animal soul has often loftier source than
An even loftier source.
has an even loftier source than the face of the ox. It becomes the which is higher than the tikkun. Therefore, the divine soul needs to experience the process of refining the animal soul so that it should connect the Hashem and the matter table as well. The divine soul has an advantage in connecting the Hashem in the way of tikkun. That through the divine soul finding the animal soul also connects the Hashem in the way of tikkun.
Tikkun's all about working together. Two separate things.
It seems like he's trying to say that each one has their own marila, and
The animal soul has a really high source, but it needs to be corrected in this world. That's why it's a struggle in this world, because it's from a higher source.
It says here, everything I've been saying.
Yeah.
The coming from the world tikkun, each one has its advantage, and they're both getting the other one's advantage.
Right. They're both, they need each other. Down here, they need each other.
Here, the divine soul, finding the animal soul, also going to share in the way of tickets. Each one is getting the other.
Right.
Both souls come down to receive from each other a path and serve Hashem that each of them does not have free. Even the upper world didn't have.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, fine. So now behind this, so this is accomplished through the divine soul becoming invested in the animal soul. And then when the divine soul contemplates the fact that Hashem is one, when reciting Krishna here, Yisrael Hashem is Hashem is one, it gets the animal soul to also think about Hashem.
Yeah.
Through this person will come to experience what is described in the following verse, and you shall love Hashem with all your heart. With both inclinations and inclination of the divine soul and animals. The word of heart is usually spelled with the letter one letter base, libcha. It is spelled here with a letter base twice to show us that it is referring to two different hearts, i.e. two It's the feelings of the divine soul, which are always directed towards Hashem, and the feelings of the animal soul, which are directed towards physicality now, but in the spiritual source, we're also directed towards
By the way,
Hashem.
something interesting I thought the other day was today was Ben Kurzman's birthday and Caleb Kurzman's birthdays. So Benjamin is Yamin, is the right side, and Caleb is Caleb. Lev is on the left side. And the twins. And Ben came out first before him. The right precedes the left.
Both should come to love Hashem when you think about Hashem's oneness and presenting the Shema. Couldn't create Shema. Taking of Chum Hashem for now became Shema. However, before saying Shema, the sages instated and to recite it.
I think you meant instituted. But yeah, okay.
Yeah, you're right.
To recite.
To recite 2 blessings before it to facilitate the proper fulfillment.
Oh, Heva Mos Esrel.
The need for reciting these blessings is because it is impossible to completely subdue and conquer the desires of the animal soul to be under the control of the divine soul without first revealing the spiritual source of the animal soul. In other words,
You have to give it tell why we're going to do this. Because you want that.
it has to be
It has to connect to
it
it.
has to be a primistic thing from the side of the animal soul.
Right.
It has to be hidden.
It's like
It's not like someone from the outside, which is
it's not a total stranger. It's you. This is you we're connecting to.
Right, so therefore we need his source.
Yeah. Which is a really crazy idea. You never would think about this on your own. This is like
the source from which it originates is from the animal soul originates.
Yeah.
It's from the level of angels known as the Holy Chais.
Makes sense.
Specifically from the aspect of his alive and things else. The name Chais literally means lively creatures, usually refers to wild animals. Here it refers to angels that have tremendous liveliness and excitement in their connection to Hashem, compared to a lion and an ox in terms of their strength and energy in serving Hashem. These lively angels make up the Merkava of angels that are totally dedicated to Hashem like a chariot to its rider. These are higher level than the dregs of the Ephanim, and the Ephanim angels and are in the highest source of the animal soul of the created worlds.
oh, let's see note 9.
Before we said the Ephanim is the source of the
Yes, this is like it's such a confusing area. The sources of the angels and the sources of the animal and the godly soul. Yeah, directly
No.
Yeah.
We talk about the source of the animal soul.
is the angel.
He says the Ephanim.
Yeah.
Now we're saying
Well, it
it's from
depends.
the
Depends which one.
Pnishur.
There's 3 general
We
categories.
just said it's the Pnishur, which is higher than the Ephanim.
Right.
So maybe.
Well, what's the source of the Ophanim is the question. Okay, however, as mentioned in previous English note, it will be brought up as a student commentary. There's an even higher source of the animal soul. Okay, the world of Torah. Right. Nonetheless, the world of Torah is very distant from the animal soul compared to the angels. Right. We don't want to do that all at once. We build our way up to it. First, let's connect to the angels. That's enough for us for now. We're much closer to its level. They are thus considered source in this context. Okay, that answers our question. It depends. That's the answer. It depends.
Fine. Here and there, we're talking about the reason that we need to reveal the source of the animal soul is because things that appear harsh in
this world
can only be turned to reveal good, except by revealing their source.
Sweetening the judgment. That's the idea that the Torah talks about sweetening the judgment.
Reveal its
Right.
source.
This is not really bad. It just looks like a bad, but really it's good.
And its source is holy.
Hatoiv Meitiv, yeah.
Through this process, there's a great spiritual ascent from the divine soul as well. Similar to the concept of the highest lift up Hashem's throne. Medrash mentions that the highest angels that made up and become lift up Hashem's throne. Explained above the throne was as Malchus, through which Hashem brings himself to travel. Creations lifting up Hashem's throne means that you bring out innovation in the world of the Malchus. This is because the angels are derived from the world of Pharaoh, which is higher than Tikkun. Since Malchus said so, the throne is in the world of Tikkun. These angels are connected of connection to Torah. When Malchus finds these angels, he received an elevation stemming from the light of Torah, which was previously trapped in these angels. This is how the highest lift up the throne. Similarly, since the divine soul comes from Atzilus Tikkun, the animal soul has a connection to Torah, but the divine soul finding the animal soul,
Right.
it received light of Torah, previously trapped in the animal soul.
So it's higher, but the divine soul has the key to get it back.
The divine soul proceeds to refine Allah's mind, through the person picking himself up spiritually to prayer, to receive Hashem's revelation and the
It's the roots into the side.
so the awakening from the person below. This brings about the awakening from Hashem above, that Hashem should want to shine His light into the person.
I guess we're talking about chakras particularly. Let's see this note here.
In Hebrew, the phrase is "Alos Ma'inachman," "Alos which literally means the elevation of feminine words. Which means of feminine words is the meaning of feminine words is as follows: the masculine feminine possess the system of giving recipient. For example, a teacher and a student. For a student to really understand the teacher's lesson, there first needs to be a real desire, or for the student to grow. This desire to learn expresses itself in how the student gives his full attention to the teacher.
He pays his attention.
He picks himself and gives his full attention to the teacher. The student who is a receiver, receiving is the feminine aspect of the relationship.
Right.
And he has to elevate himself to be able to receive correctly. The idea of calling it water is based on the following logic. For the rain to form, the verse needs to be vague rise from the water on the ground or ocean, which ascends to from clouds. These clouds can they give forth rain. As much vapor that ascends into the clouds will be how much rain is produced, and it gives downwards to saturate the earth. Similarly, the giver recipient process, as much as the student puts into really wanting water, that is how much he will receive. The same analogy applies to any giver recipient.
You know, it's funny. The word fourth means like future oriented, and that's what the fourth world is. It's all about Emos Mashiach.
Okay.
Let's see.
Rizal in Shemar, but monastery calls it Ravaya. This process is referred to in regards to offerings as Reach, an aroma, Nechech,
The Torahs.
Hashem. And in one for Parshas Pinchas and Kultur, the author explains the mystical meaning behind the phrase. Reach, aroma smells, refers to something that wafts upwards into the air like smoke that rises. This is a reference to our service of prayer. And we lift up ourselves up spiritually, just like a smell or smoke rises up.
Choyach.
Pleasing is related to the word chava, choyach.
Choy, maybe choy.
Means to descend.
Or go down.
Or to go down.
Okay, so there are two diametric ideas.
Lavaya, meaning through our spiritual elevation, accomplished prayer. Because Hashem should want to set, because that Hashem should want to descend, which is nechayach, in order to be.
You know where we see Lahavai? We see with Chana's prayers. Chana cast her prayers Lahavai onto Hashem.
We're elevating ourselves up at Reach to Hashem, so that Hashem, Lavaya, should want to descend. This process followed the system that first there needs to be a Shishal Sata from his own initiative, and then afterwards springs about in the Shishal Leila. However, there is also another system where there's first in the Shishal Leila, which is initiated from Davin comes to wake up.
Kicking the pants.
Person to have Shishal Sata. The Hainu, the Eir Sa'adam, the Kitzim Shishal Leila, the meaning that it comes to awaken.
Wake up, Yidin.
From a spiritual sleep, he's sleeping in the vanities of the physical world.
He's stuck.
Sleeping in the vanities of the physical world.
7-layer cake.
Don't even mention that one thing about it. This process is similar to how it was at the beginning of the creation of the world, when there was a bestowal of Hashem's undeserved kindness.
Meaning Rachman.
It says for you deserves kindness. So first of all, it was just an expression of the kindness. No one was around to serve Hashem, so no one was deserving of this kindness. Said Hashem of his own Hashem decided to be kind and to create the world.
This is the first 26 generations before the Torah was given. How could they have any merit?
Yeah. So too, at the beginning of the present service of Hashem. Hashem is first coming to wake up the person
Literally.
to the surface, and even if he doesn't deserve it.
Right.
But afterwards, this kindness is dependent on if
The first one's free. The second one you got to pay.
To sustain the kindness, yeah, it's dependent on these are the.
You have to subscribe.
As it is written, and he placed him, Adam, first man in the Adam, to spiritually cultivate and protect him. After Hashem made the first man Adam, Hashem made the bestowal of his kindness depend on the actions of his people.
So first the world was running by Rachman. Then it's running by Din. Now it's running by Din. More so.
It's not din. Well,
What's
said,
yeah?
Yeah, you're right.
Or Chesed then Din, yeah.
Hashem said that if Adam spiritually tests the garden of Eden, basically from there, you live forever. If you would not serve Hashem, then made into your knowledge and live on through time, you would die. When you see Hashem's kind of became dependent on his actions immediately after he was created. So right after the creation, it's already dependent on the doctrine.
Yeah, but it's only the Los Ases. He didn't have any Ases at that point. So don't, right? Shamor, yeah.
So too after Hashem wakes up a person to his service of Hashem's undeserved kindness, all the revelation of Hashem, person that receives depends on his own.
So even if you're a perfect tzaddik after that, it's all because of Hashem letting you do that.
However, despite this, even though there are specific issues out there, and the person's own spiritual work of himself, unless Hashem provides just to awaken the person they should come to have an awakening below. He's helping us out.
Yeah.
Given Hashem, so to understand this in service of Hashem, let's look at 2 levels of service of Hashem. The first level would be that there's a social zata through the person's hard work and prayer by turning himself to mentally and physically to be deeply in a contemplation of Hashem's true existence, and through this coming to have time. Prayer is a special time to reflect how deeply about consciousness of Hashem's true existence. For example, how He is beyond time and space and how He created us, etc. Though through this, the person can become brokenhearted by realizing how far he is from Hashem's infinite greatness,
Right.
and how little he feels and experiences the truth of Hashem. And there's a from this process of exertion and prayer, he receives in his soul light of Hashem's closeness. Oneness? What do you say?
Closeness.
Closeness. Yeah. Closeness.
Through realizing the distance, you can also realize the closeness.
Behind you, this is the position of the system that a person needs to be making for low, which causes us to that'd be the first one. The second level is sometimes it happens that a person becomes very excited.
Yeah, you enroll in yeshiva, right?
And he probation hard work and prayer at all. As we see, there are many people that get excited about Hashem.
They're on fire.
Suddenly.
Yeah.
With
no reason.
Become passionate about Hashem during prayer. During the time, and they don't know where the excitement came from.
Yeah.
However, after some time, the excitement fades away. I don't know. It's a mistake. It's
Yeah.
Rock is just this is because it really is an awakening from above, and it was only in the Shus L'Sata which came to awaken. But if you don't do the Shus L'Sata afterwards, it's not going to last.
Right.
It was there just to wake you up. So
To give you enough.
Enough,
it's like if you get a flat tire, the donut is not there to permanently replace your tire.
You have to do something.
It's to get you to replace your tire.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe
that's why, to teach you this video.
I lost it. I didn't take advantage of it.
No, what do you mean? You're still living.
What is the practical difference between the two systems? Whether there's a first initial way or Sata?
What's the nafkamina? Is that it, the nafkamina?
Yeah. What's the nafkamina? If this first initial, whether
there's first initial Sata or first initial Leila?
So what's the difference?
Does the effort come from me or does it come from Hashem?
What's the practical difference? Find further. We know this already.
Yeah.
When you have a real social sata of a person which is accomplished through his own hard work, and the excitement of Hashem is something that can last forever.
It's yours. You owned it. You made it. Yeah.
Forever. It can last forever.
You made it receptacle.
It's really permanent. It's
right.
amazing.
It's good. It's work.
It's just because since it is through.
Because you caused it.
That caused. Exactly. He Hamir this which and when this shine, which then shines and is rebuilt in a soul way that he internalizes it, since he had previously prepared his heart to receive his day day. What is it? It's internalized.
Yeah.
Something that's internalized lasts.
Yeah.
Since this information is internalized in him, therefore gives in his soul the power and strength to initiate another exercise process. In the future, the next time he exercises, it's giving him like the strength to do it again more.
Right.
The cycle of a person working and getting excited about Hashem during prayer, and then that experience of Hashem's closeness in a cycle that can be perpetuated. Since his experience of Hashem's closeness.
This is a novelty of Chabad Chassidus, by the way.
Of his hard work, right? Chabad.
Mm-hmm.
He truly appreciates it and internalizes it. It's internalizing.
Mm-hmm.
Because the other Chassidus don't internalize it.
Yeah, well, they're dependent on external things.
Exactly.
Like Yontif or Shabbos.
He gives him the motivation to try again and work compared to obtain a mission and motion for Hashem. We get it's never she gets a lot of reserve nafsha is or my love. We can live there nafsha. He is responsibility. It's not the case when he does not ensure himself when he is good for his own initiative. It's only what comes excited through awakening from above. When he doesn't make use of this excitement to quicken himself further in his prayers, then this excitement can completely spread more or less. We're just really
Yeah, go ahead. You know this, but you're just staying out.
Right,
What's the disadvantage of it? Isrus de la Sat or de la Ela?
coming first.
You don't use it, yeah.
Since when decided involved this person shows Hashem's goodwill, this time vanishes and is only a result of this awakening.
Like after Shabbos, people feel let down.
Different when the slight leaves, the love Hashem.
What's histalic? Is that? I thought it was looking, like seeing.
Histalic means no.
Or that's histakel.
Histakel, yeah.
What's histalic?
Histalic means to
depart.
Yeah.
Oh, depart. Okay.
Like histalkus, like somebody dies.
Oh, okay.
His
What's the shorish?
Is with a cuff, and it's before.
And it's for the llama, yeah. But what's the shorish? What's the shorish of this?
Histalic, like stalkus, histalic. I don't know.
It's a 4-letter shorish, I guess.
Probably.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is there any issues with Yitzch'k? You learn to cave up, the Russian blood in college, the idea of that when a man gives seed first, his wife gives birth to a girl. Since women have a tendency of being more easily persuaded, they're more
excitable.
They're weaker in their das.
Right, exactly. So they're more easily influenced.
They're more right, exactly. And after prayer, the person is able to be attentive to the This is the same idea as. This is the same idea as the layla coming first.
Right.
Because
if you're not receiving it, then what was the point of it?
And you're like a female who just dissipates.
Easy come, easy go.
When the creative process of reproduction is initiated by the male, it produces a female that is not as strong in her decisions. It can be more easily persuaded than a male. Similarly, in the creative process of prayer, if the spiritual awakening is initiated by the male aspect, who's the giver, the real love will be a feminine aspect. The love that comes from just the Layla, it's a feminine love.
Right.
A weaker feeling of love.
There's an idea of
for Hashem that can be overpowered.
There's also an idea in this world of not accepting gifts, of like trying to like refuse gifts because you don't want to receive gifts. But also the others, right? Okay. A handout.
The person that follows this one, the closing doors of the love, and his wife will give birth to him, meaning that he will have the strength of character to serve Hashem and overcome physical temptations of the prayer.
Right.
The greater process of reproduction is initiated by the female and produces a male that is stronger and sticking to his decisions and will not be easily persuaded.
Right.
Similarly, in the creative process of prayer, if the spiritual awakening is initiated by the female aspect, the person who is the recipient, then their result in love will be a masculine aspect, i.e. a stronger feeling of love and dedication for Hashem, gives them the strength of character to overcome physical temptations.
Meaning, are you focusing on what you're getting, or are you focusing on what you're putting out? That's the difference between male and female. Male and female is focusing on the receiving. The other one's focusing on what you're giving out.
Right. So, I see the notion of this is the reason why people who are involved needs to complain this.
Koibel, like Kabbalahs, no?
No. Needs to complain.
Complain?
This is the reason why people who are involved in the service of Hashem prepare complain about themselves.
No, oh, Koibel as Atzman. Let's see Note 21.
Yeah.
No, let's just see Note. Oh, it's not really just a source.
Sometimes they have a spirit of purity and excitement in the service of Hashem for 7 weeks, and then it stops.
Ooh.
The reason is simple. They come out with different seized and left the person. He remains with his original status in nature.
He didn't change. He went on a ride. He came back. He was dropped off right where he was picked up.
Right.
Okay, summary chapter 1. The beginning of the parsha says, "Vayikra Moshe v'yidaber Hashem elav me'oil moed lemor daber el bnei Yisrael v'mer lehem adam ki yakriv mikem karban l'Hashem min habehima min habakar min hamatzon takriv as karbanchem." Okay, here Hashem called to Moshe, and Hashem spoke to him from the O Moed, saying, "When a man will offer from among you an offering to Hashem, it shall be from the domestic animals, but only from the cattle or the sheep or the goats. You shall bring your offering." Okay, the Alter Rebbe asked 3 questions on the wording of the verse. Yosef, what are the questions? Outside. Number 1, we start in the third person and then we end up in the second person, right? Speaking generally and then it's speaking specifically to you. Okay, 2, we start in the Lashon Yachid. I'm sorry, Lashon Yachid, then we end in Lashon Rabim. Fine. So 3, also in the verse replaced Mikem from, that was the juxtapositioning of the words there. I don't know, it was diktuk or whatever the word is. Yeah, very good. To explain this verse, explains the difference between the source of a divine soul comes from Adam, which first starts from revelation. Okay, so that's Malchus Tzilus, internal aspect of Malchus Tzilus. Versus soul this is called Adam HaElyon, level of Adam from above, and level of the soul descends to the animal soul in the physical body. By the way, Malchus Tzilus is not so low because eventually Mashiach comes. Malchus is going to rise above Tzilus. Right, of course. Well, yeah, but I don't know. Okay, the animal soul we don't have to get into that. That's very technical. The animal soul comes from the level of the angels, originally from the right. That's so easy to understand because when we think about angels, they have no will of their own, just like animals. They have no will of their own. They just do what they're what they want to do, what they're told to do. These angels are notified to Hashem. Right, that's it. That's them. Okay, so that's easy. It's easy to connect them from this high spiritual.
Angels are very smart. They're smarter than
they have the smarts that they need to finish their job. That's all. They're as smart as they need to be, literally, just like animals. Animals can be as smart as they need to be. Because from this, we don't want to compare them to humans. Humans have an intellect like uncomparably. Because from this spiritual level, it descended through a process of many concealments on Hashem's revelation. The result is that its former passion for Hashem and fear of Hashem became distorted. Right. So we have to understand this. Like the animal soul wasn't always an animal. It actually started out as a very, what's the word? A very like devout.
angel.
Yeah, angel. Okay, because the purpose of the descent of these 2 souls is for the divine soul to refine and elevate the animal soul. Okay, that makes sense. This also makes an elevation in the divine soul, of course, because the divine soul is on top of the animal. It receives the passion for Hashem from the world of Tohu, which is the source of the animal soul. Yeah. This refinement process is accomplished to a large extent through the contemplation of Hashem's greatness during prayer, especially in the process leading up to the culminating in the Kriyas Shema. Well, Kriyas Shema ultimately is supposed to be a bittul b'mitzios, right? So I guess right up until a chad. Well, no, everything's bittul yesh. You're davening bittul yesh, but I think no, because you have to think about it. Bittul b'mitzios is literally you're not conscious at all. I think they said that's why the dalet is supposed to be strong in a chad because they would sometimes get so lost in dveikus. Dveikus is like bittul b'mitzios. Okay, anyways, through this it becomes aware of its potential to connect to Hashem and becomes more receptive to being transformed by the animal soul. Right, it realizes this is what I really want. That's what the animal soul realizes. Doesn't want 7-layer cakes. It wants, whatever, elevation. Through this process of a person waking love fear of Hashem everywhere, one brings corresponding relation to Hashem after prayer. Okay, that's the purpose of prayer. Prayer is not just for the prayer; it's also for afterwards. This is called an awakening from the person below, which causes an awakening from left to right. However, there's another system where Hashem first provides this. Okay, this is like asking the government for a handout, right? What's the risk? That they'll never actually pull themselves up from the bootstraps and support themselves. They'll always be dependent. Awaken the person. The purpose of the awakening is for him to use it on his own effort and sovereign prayer. Then it will have a lasting effect. Okay, so if you use it correctly, if you really focus on the money you're receiving for free and delegate it so that you don't have to be dependent anymore, it'll work. But if not, it won't work. Okay, chapter 2. This is a long one, by the way. Fine. So you want to maybe tonight do the Pesach one? It's really, really good. You want to?
How long is it?
No, this one's really long, like 60 pages. But we could probably finish the Pesach one tonight. You want to do that? You want to do that?
I want to do this.
Okay, all right. So what was the point of saying you're tired? You want coffee?
I want coffee because I already took coffee.
Can we just look at the Pesach one? Just look at it. Fine. Okay, just go.
Oh, it's not on there. So it's not.
No, it is. I already downloaded it. I already internalized it.
I'm so tired. That's not so much.
I know. Sometimes it can have an opposite effect. Okay, this one really changed my life after I learned it. You want me to start? Or you want to start? Okay. We need to understand, why is the holiday Pesach celebrated on the day that the miracle occurred? Okay. Unlike on Hanukkah and Purim, when the holiday is celebrated on the day of rest from the persecution, meaning afterwards. Are you familiar with this? Okay, so the holiday of Purim was originally celebrated on the 14th of Adar. which is the day after the Jewish people defeated the enemies in the 13th of Adar. Okay, similarly, Hanukkah was celebrated starting on the 25th of Kislev, the day after the Jewish people defeated their enemies in the 24th of Kislev. Okay, very interesting. However, Pesach was originally celebrated on the 15th of Nisan, the same day when Hashem killed the firstborns of Egypt, which is a completion of the victory over the Egyptians' enslavement. How is it possible for the Jewish people in Egypt to celebrate their freedom from slavery while they are still in the country of their oppressors? Meaning they didn't even leave Egypt yet, surrounded by their enemies. In fact, the main celebration of Pesach was in the beginning of the night of the 15th of Nisan, right? The Korban's even before, which was before the killing of the firstborn of Egypt, which happened only later at midnight. We can understand this by prefacing an explanation of the following two concepts. Yossi, what's the difference between Mamale and Soviv?
Mamale is permeating.
Yeah. And therefore what?
It's like internal.
Internal and therefore finite.
Yeah.
And Soviv is?
Infinite.
Good. Mamale perish or v'chayus nimshach mimadrega l'madrega. Mamale permeating refers to God's light and energy, which is drawn down from one level to the next. Okay, so this is like an order progression, steps. So this is like mother to son. Okay, for it is known that this world receives sustenance from the 70 spiritual ministers, and the ministers receive from the angels, which in turn receive from a higher level, which receive from yet a higher level above them. Okay. However, soviv encompassing, and you can remember, soviv is a samach. Samach is a circle. Light is level of godly light that is energy that is drawn down into order. That is not drawn down into orderly levels from one to the next. Rather, it is drawn down to all levels at once, equally. Like what? Like the soul versus the brain's distribution of the energy to the different organs. Right? That's like Soviv versus Mamali. Al derech mashal ba nefesh yesh gam kein shtei mine hashpa'is. By way of analogy, the soul, there are two types of transmission of energy. Okay. Aleph hanimshach madrega madrega, that which is drawn from one level to the next, from intellect to emotions, and from emotions to conscious thought, and from conscious thought to speech, and so forth. Okay. So that's the standard method, right? That's like the bureaucracy. It's got to go through the system, be filed. As opposed to a cash deal. Let's just do a cash deal right now. No one has to know about it. It doesn't have to go in the books. That which shines on all levels as one knot by way of being drawn down into an orderly fashion from one level to the next, right? Literally like your soul surrounding you, greater than you, versus what your body does with the soul, with the organs. Are you really tired right now? Should we? You want to just maybe just watch a video of from the Igris?
Is a short one, right?
Okay, it's short. Ish. We see in the body something corresponding to Soviv encompassing. When someone thinks he wants to move his foot will move immediately instantly. This is the connection between the father and the daughter, right? You want to, and it happens, right? Daughter's action, father is will. It doesn't have to go through, well, here's how I'll do it, and then your heart feels it. It does not take any time for the thought in his mind to travel through all the levels of his intellect, emotions, or through his other body parts until it reaches his foot. Let's see, note 4. It does take a split second for the message to travel from the brain to the foot through the nervous system, right? Primarily the spine. Usually much less than a tenth of a second. Okay. However, compared to a message passing through an entire hierarchy of intellect and emotions, is seemingly instantaneous, right? An example of a non-instantaneous process is when someone is faced with a complex question of what to do, right? To take a certain job, etc. That requires the idea of being processed through the intellect and even through other people's intellect, right? They ask people, and emotions where he decides on what to do. In contrast, the simple decision of moving one's foot travels from the brain seemingly instantaneously. This is a perfect description of father, daughter, mother, son. Okay. Okay. Hainu behechreach.
That wins in force.
Yeah.
And it actually forces.
Like karcha.
Yeah.
Because
when something is forced, you're gonna ask me.
Right, you're making it.
You're gonna anyway.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly what we're talking about. We're talking about will. Will demands it. Because what's the connection between will and action? They're both exactly. They're both external. That's how you can.
Seichel is previous. It's different.
No, but what part of seichel? We're talking about the tip of the yud. We're talking about the yud. If we're talking about bina, chachma is usually associated something with both.
But chachma is higher than seichel.
Chachma is both higher and within.
I'm talking about
we're talking about ratzon. Right, ratzon. Kester. How about kester?
Seichel itself is previous.
Yeah, but sometimes when we say about seichel, we're talking about chachma, and chachma is sometimes associated with will.
Yeah, exactly. But that's not the real seichel. Seichel is lower. Regular
contained within chachma is will.
Conscious seichel is lower than chachma.
Is Chachma. Chachma is both. Chachma is right like Torah. Torah is in the world and it's above the world. Exactly, that's what I'm saying. So it's both. Good, fine, we understand. Okay, this shows that the message of the brain reaches the foot in a way that is not stepwise. Ha! No pun intended. Rather, the brain has a direct connection with each part of the body. Right, this is the encompassing, and so is your action. Your action is a garment. A garment encompasses. Okay, fine. Very interesting. Depending on any other mental, emotional, or bodily entities. Similarly above, there are two manners of the flow of life and light from Hashem. Okay. Malikol permeates all worlds as the ray which is revealed and drawn down according to the orders of levels. I heard Rabbi Rav Paltiel describe it in the way that like a makabel and a mashpia, when you give something to a student and it goes over their head, that's like they received it, but they didn't receive it in an internalizing way. That's sovim amale, but as opposed to giving it in a way they can accept it. Okay, regarding this, it is written, the entire world is filled with his kavoda, his glory. And the Targum Yonason explains that kavoda, his glory here means his radiance, right? The kap. In other words, the verse is saying that the whole world is full of the radiance of Hashem's light as it comes down into each level according to the individual capacity of the level. Right? That's malchus. That's specifically through malchus. However, the soviv encompassing light is not directly revealed, specifically. Only an external aspect of it is revealed. However, this revelation is present in everything, but not according to its level, because it's too big, right? It's like when you fill something up with water so much, overflows. Souls and angels, spiritually and physically, and even the klipos and holiness. As is written, for the heavens and the earth, I fill. I myself, Hashem's being, in essence, fills the heavens and the earth entirely equally. Okay. Now regarding Pesach, it is written, and we were just referencing this today, and Hashem passed over the entryway, meaning that the miracle was by means of a revelation of a light in a way of skipping over. So you see the connection. Skipping over is what? Sovim or Mala. Sovim, yeah. Not the way order the progression of spiritual levels. It's like a cheat almost. For one level to the next. Rather, this revelation came in a way of Sovikom, encompassing the world, as it is written, as opposed to Purim. How did Purim come? Purim was Mamale, classic Mamale. That's a good distinction to draw on. Purim versus Pesach. Purim is all Mamale, right? Hidden. Hashem's not mentioned once. Pesach, total overriding. Hashem himself, I and not an angel. Okay, the reason this was necessary, unlike in the story of the camp of Sancheriv. I didn't know this until I read this. I've never heard the story. When the enemies of the Jew, Nach, we can all brush up on our Nach. When the enemies of the Jewish people were killed by the angel and not by Hashem himself, as it says, and it's funny, it's in Malachim. So you remember angels. And the angel of Hashem went out, struck down the camp of Ashur. Similarly, regarding Sisera's army, Hashem sent angels to destroy them instead of Hashem. Okay, what about Stom? Why don't we use the example of Stom? Ki sham hayarak shlichus bilvad ledavar. The reason there, it was simply a mission to carry out a task, right? Like an animal. It was ready to be done, and go and strike them. This is unlike the case of Mitzrayim in the striking down of the firstborn. Every firstborn was killed, and they needed discernment to know which was right. You ever see this before? To know which is father, since they were steeped in immorality. Sounds like our day today, right? In our culture. And it was unclear who's the baby mama, or who was the father. Who's the father's son, thus making it. Wait, does it matter if it's the firstborn of the mother or father?
Read further.
What?
Read further.
Okay, read further to see that it's the father. And it was unclear who each person's father was. Okay, so it's father. Thus making it difficult to determine the firstborn of a given father. Good. Even a firstborn of a mother was difficult to know, since there were those who were older. And therefore, it wasn't obvious who was born first. For the angels, we're saying. So you were saying angels were smart. Yeah, they were not that smart. Since only in a household of children, it's obvious which one is oldest and born first, right? Once they go out into the world, who knows? And this is not within the capacity of an angel to discern these matters. Okay, angels. Umashikasu basfarim is like AI. We say AI is so smart. Yeah, until we give it a task that it can't do. Umashikasu basfarim ta'am mishum shamalach. Okay, the reason this is written that is written in the Holy Sfarim, the Siddur of the Arizal specifically. Okay, interesting. That an angel is unable to descend to such a plane of impurity is far-fetched.
In other words, he could descend.
Whoa. The reason that it's written in the Holy Sfarim, that an angel is unable to descend to such a plane of impurity, we're talking about in Mitzrayim, because they were on the 49th level, is far-fetched. In fact, we see, so the reason the angels didn't do it because they couldn't. Why? Because it was such a level of impurity from the story of the camp of Asher, which was punished through an angel, showing that an angel was indeed able to descend into an unholiness of the enemy of the camp of Asher. Okay. Meaning Hashem didn't do it because Hashem couldn't.
He's saying the Arizal was wrong.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The Arizal said that he's saying Arizal said, consider the Arizal, he said that you couldn't, the Malachim could not go down to Tumah. He's saying it's not true, that actually they could.
But in Mitzrayim, Arizal made
in general, he's saying that the Arizal is saying that they can't descend into Tumah.
Okay, fine. Regarding whatever reason is given for the fact that the death of Egyptian firstborn was from Hashem himself, fine, as opposed to an angel, the intention is the same. It's the same, that at the time of the death of the Egyptian firstborns, there was revelation from the level of Hashem as the Soviet comment. Okay, and here, sometimes Soviet is Atzmos, and sometimes it's lower than Atzmos. Here he's saying Atzmos. This is the meaning of the saying that the death of the angel of the firstborn was from I. Hashem is being in essence.
No, Ani is Soviet.
Yeah. So that's what I said. Sometimes it's higher. Sometimes
you say Ani is higher than Soviet.
Sometimes, yeah. We need a third category. Hashem is, of course, it's always Hashem being in essence because even Soviet is related to worlds. Hashem is not even related to worlds. He's removed from worlds. Okay, Hashem is being in essence different levels. So Hashem is Malikom and permeates the world, right? Which with this explanation we can understand the answer to the question that you're asking. Yom Tov is when there is an indwelling of Hashem's holiness from above, okay, and the Shra and the revelation into indwelling is not possible to be manifest in the world without the initial removal of the extra. Meaning that's why there's so many restrictions on Yom Tov, not so many right assays. There's more low assays, which are created from the forces of holiness that interfere with this revelation. Right, that's why you don't do things on Yom Tov because you want to experience Yom Tov. And you shall destroy the evil you from within you. Referring to the Erev. L'chein gabi Purim. Okay, therefore regarding Purim, first the Jewish people needed to kill. There was something they had to do first. 75,000 of their mortal enemies. What's 75,000? That's what I want to know. 75 is Cohen, who actually from the nation of Amalek, which is a powerful Kalipa, force of unholiness, as written. Amalek was the first of the nations to attack the Jewish people, and its end will be permanent destruction. Right, that's why we say remove the name, wipe out the name, because they don't have an essence. It's just a name. And it's also you must wipe out Amalek and Esther, and the 10 sons of Haman were killed. But then she says, let them be killed afterwards. What's up with that? Only after they established a day of celebration and joy, and sending portions of food to one's friends, and gifts to the poor, which signifies the revelation of holiness as the cause of the celebration. Okay, by way of analogy, when a king wishes to live in a new house, okay, or palace perhaps, first it has to be clean from all the filth and dirt before he can move into it. Okay, I would say anybody, but certainly a king. It has to be fit for a king. Similarly, before there can be revelation of similar holiness in the world needs to be clean from the force and holiness. Okay, good mashal. This is why this process of establishing the Yom Tov of Purim required 2 separate days. One day, the 13th of Adar, to remove. That's why we fast. I don't know that's why we fast, but we fast. Interesting to know. Right, that's the removal. 13th day to remove the concealment of holiness, and then the next day, the 14th of Adar, was the revelation of holiness. By the way, when you drink after fasting, you get much drunker. Behind it should be obvious. By the way, you know the halacha with drinking. If you're not going to get totally drunk, then you drink a little bit and you go to sleep. This is because the revelation of on Purim was from the level of Hashem is Malik Omen. Oh, this is what I was just saying. Permeates the world. This divine light comes from the level, and that's step by step. For removing the impurity and only then revealing the good, but they cannot both happen at one time. See, sometimes we have to get to the essence by removing the outside. Sometimes the essence comes to us by pushing through and revealing itself. Aval neis de Pesach, however, the miracle Pesach, which came about through revelation of love, which does not become differentiated shine, right? It just happens. That's like batal b'mitzias, just kind of overtakes you. This makes it possible to have both of these two things, removing the evil, revealing it all at once, right? So that there could be punishing of the Egyptians through the striking of the firstborn in Egypt, which actually gives us a question. Why do we need to spend 49 days preparing ourselves if Hashem was going to reveal his essence at Har Sinai? Seemingly, it's not necessary to remove the impurity because it removes it all at once anyways.
Well, the part of the 49 days is a Mali.
Right, but I'm saying what were they preparing for? They're preparing for Anochi.
It's just you don't need that.
Yeah, it's a question. I don't know.
I don't answer.
This makes it possible to have, well, eventually they internalized. Okay, so this makes it possible to have both of these, and it didn't really work, actually, right? It was kind of a failure the first time. This makes it possible to have both these two things, removing the evil, revealing, okay, so you need both, all at once, so that there could be punishing through the striking down the firstborn in Egypt, and at once, and at the same time, revelation, okay, saying the Hallel and praise of Hashem. But it wasn't really an Isrus De'ela, because wasn't it Mesiras Nefesh of them to, but then maybe that's Isrus De'ela. Anyways, to keep the 3 days of the whatever is a goat. Now the altar or the sheep, the altar Rebbe goat. The altar Rebbe will address a different version of the story of the night in Pesach, which would disprove the need of the qualification, and the miracles was from Hashem Yisrael in the comes in. Okay, as it comes to Bas Sfarim, now regarding this, we're in a certain Sfarim that the occurrence, what does it mean? Certain Sfarim, who's that? The Shla, that the occurrence of the death of the firstborn was prior to midnight, but the other event of the revelation of Hashem to the Jewish people was after. Well, I think it depends. Did they change the clocks back yet, or were they one of the later? They changed the clocks, right? Daylight savings. Ela hakol haya. This is a joke. Any knew this joke. Ela hakol haya bisman echad. Rather, they both occurred at the exact same time. Huh? Because it's a revelation of essence. Essence doesn't matter. Everything is dissolved. According to you want to read this?
According to that version of the story, the revelation is not conclusive, since if the death of the Egyptian firstborn occurred before midnight, and the revelation of Hashem happened after midnight, then we can say Pesach is so different from Hanukkah, when all this was first removed, and only afterwards, at a separate time, the celebration, the revelation of Hashem. However, as mentioned in the beginning, in the maamar, this is not the correct version of the story. In truth, the death of the firstborns of Egypt only started at midnight, while Jewish people were in the middle of celebrating the redemption. In fact, the death of the firstborn occurred after the Jewish people finished eating according to Pesach and Matzah, and already started preaching praise to Hashem, even before the death of the firstborn. This means that at the same time they were
simultaneously happening.
Yeah.
Okay, revelation or something. Cool. Okay. In order for there to be revelation that was accessible to Jewish people in the midst of the intense Egyptian, this revelation of Hashem had to come from how Hashem is Soviv common, I would say maybe even greater, equally, where there's no differential between holiness and impurity. Okay. We're using Soviv generally now, not specifically. You want to continue with chapter 2? Or? Okay. However, we need to understand how life is equally manifest everywhere and equalizes everything. As was stated previously and before him, darkness is like light, and if you will act righteously, what does it give? Meaning, what does he care? The light of Hashem comes to all worlds equally doesn't differentiate between holiness and holiness. Oh, so we're saying, how is it able to differentiate? Right? That seems a little bit too specific. Okay, this is how it can also shine in the place of holiness, like the world of like the light of Hashem operates all worlds. This is how just Jewish people were able to celebrate divine revelation in the midst of holiness, meaning it's dichotomous. Two separate things. Since the revelation was from Hashem, his compass of the world. Okay, so because he's so infinite, he's also able to be finite. Fine, that's a crazy answer. It's like your fellow's question where you said, "Why do we not say Shechianu?" The answer was, "Well, we really do say Shechianu, but it's not the Shechianu that you're familiar with. It's a different kind of Shechianu." This is how it's possible for that very same level of Hashem. So everything encompassing everything equally. Specifically, from there comes the power of striking down the Egyptians. Okay, if this level is revealed to holiness and unholiness equally, then why does it bring destruction on the wicked Egyptians? Seemingly, it should be revealed to the Egyptians the same way it's revealed to the Jewish people. No, because they weren't fit to accept it, maybe. Okay, so we're going back to the Arizal. Okay, this explanation is based on what is written in the Pri Chaim. In the explanation of the section of the Gada beginning, Avadim Hayinu. We were slaves and Hashem took us out. The Pri Chaim writes, Abba, wisdom, and Ima, Bina, of Atzilus internalized in themselves the arms, attributes of kindness, severity of Arach Anpin. Whoa. Right. Bina is higher because Bina is sourced in Atik, whereas Chachma is sourced in Arach, outer. Let's see. The meaning of the chart, Arach Anpin represents will, Ratzon, generally. And the reason, and above reason, intellect. Okay, Atzilus corresponds to the conscious level, godly intellect and emotion. Right, from Chachma to Malchus. In our willpower, we have two tendencies: to pursue something and to reject something. Right and left. These are the two aspects of love and kindness and severity, hatred, as they exist in our will. Yeah. Oh, okay. So the source of the emotions, which is probably higher than the source of the intellect. Now, in addition, these two tendencies of our willpower can operate on two levels: conscious and subconscious, of course. Right. If willpower only operates on a subconscious level, it is possible that our true inner will is not at all expressed in our conscious functioning. In fact, it is possible for us to act in a way that is completely opposed to our inner will. Right? Ruach shtus. There's also shtus to kedusha. For example, a Jew has an inner will and desire to connect to Hashem through the Torah mitzvahs. He can also have an external desire for material needs. I assume most do. Now, this inner will may remain subconscious to the extent that a Jew might, God forbid, do things that the exact opposite of, God forbid, Lawyer Lane, who never heard of any one case like this, but okay, maybe, which is the exact opposite of his inner will. A Jew can act based on his external desire. I believe it, but I've never seen it. Desire for material pleasures at the expense of his inner will to connect to Hashem. Okay. However, when he becomes conscious of his inner will, okay, when this inner will becomes revealed and expressed consciously, in his chachma bina, and he realizes in his mind what his true inner desire is, then he will try his utmost to act in its teshuva in accordance with his inner will. He will strengthen himself to fulfill the Torah and mitzvahs in his daily life, even at the expense of his material desire. Yeah. Similarly, Hashem's inner will and desires for the Jewish people. Oh, okay, this is like Elul. Hashem's inner desires for the Jewish people, period, and for holiness, period, that they should be, not that they do, that they be. That's atik. His external will is that there should be a world that is conducted, right, according to the laws of nature. Fine, so that the Jewish people can do what they can be. That yeah. Now, when the inner will is not fully internalized in the conscious levels of chachma bina, okay, I would say even in das, because it's possible for conduct of tefillah to be according to the external will only, meaning you live a life because you think you're supposed to just do what the world wants you to do. This external will gives life to the physical world and laws of nature at the expense of his inner will, right? How can Hashem let all these things happen? No, Hashem lets them happen, but that's not what he wants. He wants them to happen, but that's not what he really wants to happen. The external will gives life to the physical world and nature, the expense of his inner will. This explains how it's possible for the Jewish people to be enslaved in Egypt, right? Since they experienced this conduct of Atzilus based on its external will, right? Which creates the nature of the physical world. You think there's a part of I don't know, Hashem. In the physical nature of the world, whoever is stronger can enslave those who are weaker. Thus, when the conduct of Atzilus is according to the external will, there's two modes. External will, the Egyptians representing nature are able to rule over the Jews. Okay, this is October 7th. That's external will. The redemption from Egypt came about when the internal will of Hashem, his true desire for the Jewish people, and holiness became fully expressed and revealed. So it switched. There was a switch, literally. External, internal. When that happened, the conduct was still shifted to be in accordance with Hashem's inner will, where physical nature has no control over the Jewish people and holiness. Yeah. Beautiful. That explains all the niflam, and the nasim and niflam. In fact, this shift of the conduct of the from external will to inner will had a corresponding process. What about the miracles before midnight? Was that not also an expression of inner will? I don't know. Maybe that was the external of the external. In fact, the shift of the conduct of from external will, the inner will had a corresponding process with the Jewish people themselves. Right, because this is where we're all connected, right? Before creation.
Pardon me.
Yes, sir.
Sorry to interrupt you guys. There's music playing in the office.
You want to turn it off?
Do you know where you turn it off?
Yeah, there's these things.
Fine, but
No. It's not fine.
These things right here. I think you said.
Okay. Is that the? He looks just like the Israeli guy that's sponsoring the breakfast. That's not him, right? That's the same guy? I thought he was a doctor or something, a surgeon. Is that guy's name is Matisyahu? Okay. In fact, the shift of the conduct of Atzilus from his external will to the. Is he from Israel? Wow, it must be a very sophisticated system that he's installing. In fact, the shift of the conduct, it's by way of Mamali, by way of Ilavelu. In fact, the shift of the conduct of Atzilus from external will to the inner will had a corresponding process of the Jewish people. Okay, so how did it affect the Jewish people themselves? Conduct of the Jewish people shifted from the external desires, meaning they were caught up in being slaves, to their inner desires to connect with Hashem. Yeah, like this happens to us all the time. As a result of this shift, they were able to show tremendous self-sacrifice in order to retain their. Okay, so that explains it. Meaning their self-sacrifice that demonstrated wasn't a result of their inner work; it was a result of Hashem's shift. This self-sacrifice is expressed in their having fulfilled the command to tie the sheep to the bedpost, fine, to offer the Pesach offering, and to undergo bris milah. This is in addition to a great self-sacrifice of the Jewish women, whose faith in their redemption was unbreakable, and who continues having children despite the fact that the Egyptians were killing so many babies. Yeah. The shift within the consciousness of the Jewish people caused a shift in the consciousness of the Atzilus. Oh, so now we're saying it isn't that. We're saying it because of the Jewish people. Seemingly, what's first? What we just read, it seemed like the other way around, but now he's saying no.
based on the maamar of
Oh, the
vayikra,
yeah.
we have a social sata. We change your shift.
No, but I'm saying
No,
which one
no.
preceded which one here?
Us,
Here, seemingly. Okay.
out in ourselves. Let's see what the maamar says.
Okay, never mind. Well, this isn't. Okay, you want to take over? Okay, this in turn revealed Hashem's inner will to the physical world by redeeming Jewish people from slavery, by redeeming the Jewish people from slavery, destroying the unholy. I think it was both. I think it started Hashem, us, Hashem. Okay, now to fit back into the worlds of the Maamar, in the words of the Maamar, Abba, the father, is the reference level of Chacham. Okay, Ima. This is your mother's classic teaching when you were younger. She would say it's not Abba and Ima, it's Av and Aim. Remember, she always used to say that. That's Aramaic, right? That's the Achraim. Ima, the mother, is reference to the level of being, understanding of Tzilus. Okay. That's right and left, respectively. These two levels are called father and mother, since these two aspects of the intellect are the parents of the emotions and conduct, right? Actually, in Tanya, they're referred to just as the mothers, all of Chabad. Shehil bishuz las royois da arich anpin, that clothe within themselves the arms of arich anpin. Okay, arms of arich anpin, A. The levels of Chachamina, of Atzilus, drew into themselves and absorbed the revelation of the arms of arich anpin. The arms is a metaphor for kindness. The right arm, severity, because the emotions. Archambin is the will of Hashem that encompasses the world of Tzilus, right? That's outer. Similar to the way our subconscious encompasses.
So basically, it's chesed and gvura
of Chachma Bina.
of our company.
Of who?
Of our.
Well, it seems the Arch Anpin is the potential for Chachma, the potential for Chesed and Gevura before they flow into Chachma Bina. That's okay. Okay, so the arms of Archambin are Hashem's inner will. Desire to give that which is holy right arm to destroy unholiness left arm. When Chacham Bina Batil clothed in themselves these two aspects of Hashem's inner will, okay, the entire mode of conduct of Tzilus, okay, so that's what causes Chacham Bina to shift. The system to shift is what's flowing in. Are we drawing? Yeah. Are we drawing from the outer? Or are we drawing from the inner? We're driving the Chacham Bina shifted in order to bestow life and that which God gives us. Okay, so once we shifted from I don't know why he hasn't said Atik though yet. Atik is the inner. Okay, let's see. This means that the spiritual source, the Jewish people, is from the level of panim, panemius, innermost, which is will and desire, is written Hashem's shining countenance to you. Okay, the word panim face is related to the word panemius, inner dimension. So this is why you show your face to someone that you love, since you want to connect you. Whereas you turn your back to someone, don't turn your back to me. Yeah, he clearly doesn't respect. And you do not like to remove any inner connection to the person. I can't even look at you. Similarly, when Hashem shines his upon him, face kind of refers to the revelation of the inner dimension of Hashem's light. Okay? Inner light. The real inner desire. Will the real inner desire please shine? And the intention of Hashem to connect to us. Hashem just wants to be with us. The Egyptians, on the other hand, literally, or not really, okay, come from the level of the external aspect of Hashem's will, represent the Oiref. By the way, what's the word Oiref backwards? Par, there it is. Back of the neck. And the word ha'oiref shares the same letters as par, the king of the Egyptian. Okay. When someone is forced to engage someone that they truly dislike, they speak, okay, we know this. Similarly, Hashem truly hates the forces of unholiness, the klipa, right? But he needs them for us to choose them. Was the furthest point from the level of panim face. Okay. It's the achraim of the face. Panim. At the time in Egypt, there was a concealment on the revelation of Panim, the innermost level of Hashem's will. This is because, as it says, and Yosef and all his brothers and their entire generation passed away. Ooh, wow, very interesting. Taish on the pasuk. During his lifetime, the lifetime of Yosef and his brothers, they revealed the inner desire that Hashem has for the Jewish people in the world. This removal, the possibility of the external aspect of the world, the Egyptians should control them, since it was obvious that they only exist in order to help the Jewish people serve Hashem. Okay, so when they died, so did that mode of living in the world. When these great tzaddikim died, the inner will of Hashem for the Jewish people became hidden in the external will of Hashem. How many generations was it from Yosef to Moshe? 4? I guess because it's 7 from Avram. 4? Because it was 400 years, right? 4. But they lived longer. When these great tzaddikim died, the inner will of Hashem for the Jewish people became hidden in the external will of Hashem. Okay, fine. So it's the context switch, the mode of context switch, for the world to exist in the natural order. Okay? In that dynamic, it became possible for... But that's the idea that I was working on when I said the other day, Seder, that's not the order. The order is usually Pshat, Remez, Jer, Sod. And we're missing one. We're missing the main one because it's not the natural order. It starts with the Nesim Neflaim, the Sod, and then it descends into us. And we have to do the Pshat. We have to go through the story. Hashba nimshach b'chinas acharaim k'man dishade basar ksuf kasvoy. What do you say?
Yeah.
You want to read? I don't see how much longer is this chapter.
We already finished.
Oh wow. Yeah, we're almost done with this. You want to read? You read.
You read.
I read? Okay. You're being modest. Flow of
Okay.
what? This is where we are?
18.
Okay. Chai. The flow of life from Hashem at the time came from the external aspect of Hashem's will, like someone who throws something behind himself over the back of his shoulder, somebody doesn't like. By the way, I tell you my idea about the Rebbe's birthday.
No.
The day after Yom Kippur is Yud Aleph Tishrei, significant day. It's associated with Yud Vav. The Rebbe's birthday is Yud Aleph Nisan. Nisan is the koyach of what Tishrei is the poil. You can say the Rebbe's birthday is all about the revelation of Hashem's name after Teshuvah has been, but on the internal aspect of that.
The internal of Yom Kippur. Okay.
Yeah. No, the day after Yom Kippur.
The internal of that.
Yeah. And that makes sense also because 11 is associated with the Keturah, right? The Teshuvah. This resulted in we were a slave to Paro, who receives his life existence from the Oyref, the back of the neck, the will. That's what he wasn't lying when he said, "I don't know Hashem." He literally didn't know Hashem. This is where he gets his life from. He's got no true life. Subsequently, though Havaya Elokeinu, Hashem took us out from slavery with these two names of Hashem, Havaya, and Elokim, Elokeinu, Elokeinu, our God, which represents Abba, Chachma, Ima, Atzilus, which internalized themselves in the arms, attributes, which internalized in themselves the arms, attributes of kindness, severity, This process causes that Hashem should shine his inner will to become panim, internalized. That's an answer. Why do evil people like flourish in this world? Because it must be that the mode of conduct is from the acharaim, not from the pneumius. Right? That's why good people suffer. This ensures that Hashem's conduct will be expressed as revealed goodness and kindness, right? With us forever. Oh, let's see, note 25. The Alter Rebbe is combining the ideas of two different verses. Ya'er Hashem panav elacha. Hashem shall shine his panim, countenance, into you. Elokim yechanei v'ruchenu yer panav yitzchak. Hashem will be gracious to us and bless us. He will shine his panim and innermost eyes and will be with us forever. The first verse from Berachos Kohanim, right? We learned from that the blessing we receive is when Hashem shines and reveals that his innermost will is for the Jewish people and holiness. Fine. Second verse from Tehillim. Wait. The verse from Berachos Kohanim. Fine. Second verse from Tehillim, we learned that if Hashem shines his innermost will in an internalized manner, this ensures his conduct will be revealed good within for us. Okay. Wait. Sorry. Can you explain this to me? What's the difference between the first and second? The first one is what we want. The second one is when we experience it. This is. This means that Hashem is. Okay, I don't really understand this, but okay. I think it's like almost too much. Okay. You want to take a break? Let's take a break.
I'll look at it after.
Yeah, and you'll bring understanding to it. Let's just do the Igris for tonight. Let's just here it is right here. It's fresh, 16 minutes ago. Gross. Okay.
Halfway
All right.
after we finish this class.
That's what I'm saying, though.